In the current year of 2024, entertainment is in a weird spot, isn't it? I know that term can sound incredibly vague without further context, but what I mean is the entertainment industry like film, TV, gaming, and music has been changing at an insane pace lately. You have music, which is now just dominated by rap stars who like to flex their money and show off their fake bodies. Or you have gaming, where due to how advanced consoles are nowadays, games have much greater expectations to be the best they can be, and oftentimes failing. Or you have films where, unless your movie is based on a popular brand or has a massive cast attached to it, then say goodbye to any chances of it doing well, cause it's gonna flop. Then you have TV, where it's either a soap opera about doctors working in a hospital, I am a surgeon, or a quirky fun sitcom about goofy characters acting like complete goofballs. So goofy, he's so goofy, you're so goofy.
I hear you're a racist now, father!
Now you may be wondering, what a weird way to start the video. And yes, I've never been good at writing intros, so sorry about that. But it's important you guys know that I love media, and who doesn't, am I right? Every day, we as humans consume some form of media, even if we don't recognize it. Like, I love playing games, or listening to music, or watching films and TV when I'm not drowning in college work. It's like an escape of sorts, just being able to switch off your brain for a bit and enjoy your favorite show or listen to your favorite song for the millionth time in a row. It can be very relaxing and even therapeutic. But something that I've noticed in recent years is that modern entertainment has been taking a big nosedive in terms of quality. Like, despite all the technology and opportunities we have to produce whatever we want, brand new pieces of media can often feel underwhelming or even disappointing. Now, I don't want it to look like I'm going on a whole rant about woke people and how they're ruining entertainment, cause they're not. What I'm saying is that we rarely see a new original piece of media that truly leaves an impact or changes the industry. Like, for some examples, in 2023, the two most successful movies was the Mario movie and the Barbie movie. While they are both great films, they had the help of being based on two well-established properties and having big celebrities behind them. Or with gaming, try and think of a big game that was released in the past 4 years that truly shows off the power of modern consoles. Go on, I'll wait. Okay, Spider-Man 2 was good, but you get the point, right? Sure, most of Nintendo's recent games are just remasters or remakes, cause why put in the effort, am I right? But to get things back on track, in this video I want to go over the issues with modern entertainment by mainly looking at film, TV, gaming, music, and analysing why they aren't up to the same standards of quality as they were years ago. So sit back folks, it's time to hear the ramblings of a white man who is so desperate in showing people he is normal. Psst, I'm not normal. Now, in order to start off my rants on modern entertainment, I think it would be appropriate to start off with a piece of entertainment that has been damaged the most in recent years. And that is, of course, the film industry. Now, it doesn't take a super genius to know that Hollywood is kind of in shambles right now. I could make a whole multi-hour long video essay on the issues of modern filmmaking, but for the sake of not overworking myself, let's just keep this as brief as possible. First off, it's important to understand why the film industry is in shambles, and it's mainly due to several factors: incompetent executives, a lack of confidence, and the audience. Now, the last point, I'm not saying that we as viewers are to blame for the current state of film, but it's more so what we have come to expect from films. Let me take you guys back around 30 years ago into the 90s. Back then, going to the cinema was an experience. There's no internet back then, so we couldn't just watch any clips or trailers of a movie at any point online. People would look at a poster or by luck catch a trailer at a different movie, and if the movie looked good, they would go watch it. This mindset back then would sort of force studios to try and make their movies look as good as they can be. Obviously, not all movies back then were good. In fact, there were quite a few stinkers, but they at least tried to give the illusion that the movies looked good. Batman and Robin and the 1993 Mario movie, for example, were both terrible movies, but they also had amazing trailers to kind of show people that, hey, see how cool these trailers are? Well, the movie will totally be even better than the trailer, so please check this movie out.
Mamma mia!
And since watching movies back then was not as easy as it is today, people would gladly go to the cinemas. Sure, VHS tapes were a thing back then, but would you rather watch a movie with 5 pixels on a small box, or watch a movie on a ginormous screen? See what I mean? Now, how about we fast forward to the current year? Watching a movie nowadays is beyond easy. If you have a phone and no good pirate sites, then you can watch basically whatever movie you want to watch. And in terms of movies releasing in cinemas, a lot of the time they usually just release onto streaming right after its theatrical run. Or in some cases it releases in cinemas and on streaming on the same day. This was quite common over COVID since a lot of cinemas were closed down, but the effects of COVID did greatly impact the movie industry, particularly Disney, where they released a lot of their animated movies straight onto Disney+, and people became used to watching the new Pixar or Disney movie on Disney+, as opposed to paying money to watch in the cinemas. We as viewers have become so used to watching the new big movie on streaming that going to the cinema and paying a hefty ticket to watch a movie seems like a big risk nowadays. Like, if you're watching a movie at home and you don't like it, you can just turn it off and watch something else. But when we're at the cinemas, we paid for the ticket, so we feel somewhat obligated to watch it all the way through. This is mainly why studios don't really take risks with movies anymore. Back in the day, we would see some truly bizarre movies that felt like they're written by a lunatic. But nowadays, movie studios don't want to risk making something too weird that might scare away potential viewers. A good example recently is Disney with their newest movie, Wish. Now, I know that people have been shitting on this movie for a while now, and let me tell you, it is rightfully deserved. I watched a bit of Wish in preparation for this video, and fucking hell, what happened to American mainstream movie making? I could predict almost everything that was gonna happen, and the characters made me want to consume a lot of alcohol and go for a nice peaceful drive. I was astonished by how bland it was, but I think that was intentional. Disney in the past few years has kind of been burning money, so when it came to making their big 100th year anniversary movie, they wanted to make it as safe as possible. No risk with the story, characters, or animation, just keep the characters quirky as usual, make some generic pop songs that can be played on the radio on repeat, keep the animation the same but add a small outline to make it look like Spider-Verse, and have the story be so bland that it is borderline confusing, and behold, a perfectly safe kids movie that will in no way flop. Oh dear, that's unfortunate. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I could also go on a rant about how Hollywood loves to remake old movies for a quick buck, but I think that people are well aware of that. Remakes are bland, of course, but sometimes they could work. I always believe that Hollywood should remake movies that are notoriously bad, or hell, even movies that flopped upon release but grew a cult following over the years. There are so many great potentials for remakes, but the studios only want to remake recognizable movies that would be a surefire hit. For example, only 6 movies have surpassed $1 billion within the past 4 years, and as you can see here, they are all based on well-known properties. And how a movie as bland as Avatar: The Way of Water makes $2 billion is beyond me. But the only movies that are profitable nowadays are movies based on IPs that people recognize. Sure, Oppenheimer did almost break $1 billion, but that movie had the help of being directed by Christopher Nolan, having a big all-star cast, and gaining a meme status on the interweb. This results with indie filmmakers struggling to get their passion projects shown to the world, because a lot of them aren't big-name directors, they don't have any A-list celebrities, and they don't have a popular IP to help drag viewers in. Granted, it's not all bad since there are studios like A24 and Blumhouse who let filmmakers go wild with a decent enough budget, but it's just a shame how bigger studios have next to zero faith with smaller, more independent and more risky movies. Hopefully someday this will all change, but with how movies are performing nowadays, that's rather unlikely. Now, there's not too much I can say about TV since a lot of the issues with modern TV can easily be applied to film, but one thing that I do want to discuss with TV is streaming. As we all know now, streaming has become the new way to watch TV. Whenever a new show comes out, it'll almost always be released on a streaming service. Now you may be wondering, how exactly is this a bad thing? It's super convenient to be able to watch a show on demand, right? Well, the main issue comes when an entire series of a show releases at once, and spoilers for a certain episode can spread like wildfire, which is really annoying. Thankfully, studios have copped on now and they usually release episodes weekly now, which is honestly a great alternative. But another big issue with streaming is how a lot of streaming services are only available in certain countries. For example, I live in Ireland, where I do have access to sites like Netflix, Disney Plus, and Prime Video, but other sites like Peacock and HBO Max are not available here at all. So any Warner Brothers property that releases on HBO Max, I cannot watch it. Or a show like Parks and Recreation, which I really enjoy, got taken off of Irish Netflix and is only available on Peacock now, which like I said, is not available in Ireland. Sure, cable TV was limited, but from my experiences growing up, shows and specials that were airing in America, I could easily watch in Ireland at the same time. So if companies want to reach a wider audience with their shows, then maybe release them on platforms where more people can watch it, or better yet, just make the streaming services available worldwide. In terms of the quality of modern TV, it's not terrible. I'm just personally glad that TV is no longer dominated by those terrible reality TV shows that were everywhere in the 2010s. I know they had their audiences and they were clearly successful, but God, they drove me mental, especially that Love Island show. Just some rich dickheads in a mansion trying to shag each other. I hated it. Sure, you do have all those cop and doctor shows I brought up earlier, and I could not tell them apart if I tried. They all just feel the same. I don't know who's watching these shows, but hey, they clearly have an audience, so pop off, girl. TV animation, on the other hand, is doing... I guess it's going okay. I say I guess because, personally speaking, I have not really enjoyed a lot of TV animation in recent years. I know a lot of people think that TV animation is in a great place at the moment, and I can see why people think that. TV animation has become more and more inclusive and much better representation of LGBT people, which I think is great. But diversity does not equal good quality. It's great to see diversity within TV, but it doesn't really change my opinion on whether a show is good or bad. Owl House, for example, has some brilliant LGBT themes, and I love how it's represented in the show. But apart from that, the show is not really enjoyable for me. I don't know, maybe it's the humor or the writing or the characters, but I just couldn't get into it. And I don't want to be that Twitter asshole who rants about the Cal art style, but man, I really do not like how most modern cartoons look nowadays. Especially all those adult cartoons that just look the same and they have the same style of humor where they just swear and have gore happen. It's so funny, right? Like honestly, who's watching Paradise PD or Big Mouth? Go watch a good adult animation like Smiling Friends. That show is fucking goated. Obviously, no hate to the crew behind these shows, of course. I'm aware of how awful they can be treated by the networks and how low their budgets can be. Hopefully studios can start appreciating the people that actually make the shows and give them higher budgets. But hey, that's TV business for you. So talking about modern music is a bit tricky since there are many different genres of music out there like rock, jazz, rap, and hip-hop. But in the current year of 2024, the most popular type of music that people listen to is often rap music. Now, I don't want to shit on rap music whatsoever. There are some phenomenal rap artists out there and some of my favorite songs are from rap. But oh my god, I really do not like how modern rap music is done nowadays. For almost 10 years now, it kind of feels like all rap songs are the same, including the music videos that accompany them. Like whenever I listen to a good few rap songs, all I hear is I just wanna find news, give me some chocolate goo, I just wanna jelly. And with the videos, it kind of feels like the rappers in question are just showing off all their money, cars, and mansions. Oh yeah, and a lot of strippers for some reason. Like, I've always said that rap videos are nothing more than PG porn videos. And no, I'm not some snowflake who believes that music videos should be more squeaky clean and PG. But to me personally, it's just generic seeing the same style of music video done over and over again. Like, how many times do we need to see some female dancer shaking their arse into the camera? Half the time, the song in question has no connection to the video. You swear that the artist just can't be bothered planning a detailed video shoot, so they're just like, yeah, bring a crew over to my house while I just get high on meth and show off all my riches and have these women dance and pose. That's what gets the views. And like I said, the songs in question just all feel the same lyrics of someone being rich and successful, with the same heavily auto-tuned voice, or having a WAP. God, I genuinely fucking hate that song with a passion. But you get what I mean, right? And what's worse is that these songs have a target audience of young teenagers between the ages of 13 and 18. So the songs in question could potentially give younger lads the impression that the only way to live a happy life is to be rich as fuck. And flex your riches onto others, of course. Now, why am I only focusing on rap music, I hear you ask? Well, it feels like the only type of music that studios want to focus on nowadays is rap music. Every song that plays on the radio is rap music, and every movie that has original songs are, majority of the time, rap songs. It's frustrating since there are so many great genres of music that studios just kind of ignore. A good example I could think of was with the 2018 Grinch movie. In the teaser trailer, we hear this sort of steampunky / jazzy cover of the Grinch song, and I would honestly say that it's downright amazing. But sadly, in the final film, we got this generic rap version of the song that sounds like the artist was half asleep while recording. Again, I want to repeat that I do not hate the genre of rap. Like I said, there are some phenomenal rap songs out there, but it kind of feels like the industry just wants to focus on low-effort rap music made by some rich lads, rather than different types of songs created by genuinely talented and unique artists. In my personal life, I actually know a lot of musicians and songwriters, and let me tell you that they are some of the most talented individuals I have ever met in my life. And if those talented musicians are watching, just want to say that you guys are amazing. Keep up the good work. Hopefully we do see more genres of music pushed to listeners. Even if people don't understand the genre at first, they might eventually come around to it. Sure, when Black Sabbath first started producing music, no one really knew who they were, and their music was kind of weird for the time, but over time people got more and more into their music, and it led to the beginning of the whole heavy metal music scene. So companies should really try and make music that is more unique and different, rather than produce what's popular. I do get that going with what's popular makes a buttload of money nowadays, but surely you can take a small risk and try something new, right? Now, as we slowly reach the end of this cheeky little video essay, I think it's time to get into the most divisive topic of this video, that being video games. Now, whether you play video games or not, you can't deny just how massive the gaming industry has become. Some of the most successful entertainment products out there are, you guessed it, video games. They have dominated our lives since the early days of Pong. God, I fucking love Pong! But I think it's fair to say that gaming is in a very difficult spot right now, and realistically, it shouldn't be. If you grew up in the 2000s like myself, then you would remember seeing the insane evolution of gaming. I remember when I was 5 years old I got a DS, I think it was a DSi, and I would play games like Mario Kart DS or New Super Mario Bros. And I thought it was so cool how you can control these tiny pixelated characters on screens and go on adventures with them. Then a few years later for Christmas, I got the Wii, where I played games like Super Mario Galaxy 2 and Smash Bros. Brawl. The best Smash Bros. Game, by the way. And holy shit, did those games blow my 7-year-old self out of the water. Seeing Bowser in the opening of Galaxy 2 and how ginormous he was kinda scary, but also incredible. And playing the rest of the game just made me think to myself, wow, this is peak. Gaming cannot get any better than this. Then fast forward a few years later, I got an Xbox 360, purely so I can play Minecraft on it. And with the console, I also got a game called Call of Duty Black Ops 2. I still remember playing the story mission and just being in complete awe. Like, damn, this is near identical to real life. Sure, the graphics have aged a lot since then, but when you play them on a small TV with 480p resolution, you honestly don't notice how bad it looks. Even the leap to the Xbox One and the PS4 was still very impressive. It was a time when graphics started to become more and more realistic, and games were fully taking advantage of the new systems. It felt like gaming was being taken seriously. Hell, they weren't even considered games at this point, they were experiences. Red Dead Redemption 2 is not just a game, it's an incredible journey through old American history. But seriously, games like Red Dead Redemption 2 or the Fallout series are so immersive that you often forget you're even playing a game. It's kind of incredible, isn't it? Then sadly, these quote-unquote groundbreaking consoles were released. So, the Xbox Series X and the PS5. Now you're probably wondering, what are my issues with these consoles? Well, the best way I can describe my issues is that, for every console release, it would always show a drastic improvement. For example, when the PS1 and N64 released, they introduced full 3D graphics and open worlds. Sure, the graphics were incredibly dodgy, but it was a massive jump going from simple 2D side-scrollers to big 3D sandboxes. Then with the PS2 and original Xbox, they redefined graphics, allowing games to look more clean and even more expressive. Plus, the worlds inside these games could be much bigger to explore as well as more things to do in them. Then later with the PS3 and Xbox 360, we would see an insane jump in graphics. Games could actually look somewhat realistic now, and even physics could be more realistic and even more fun to play around with. Even with the PS4 and Xbox One, games finally started to really peak with graphics, and worlds could truly feel massive and lived in. Each new console that released had something new and exciting to offer gamers, and with a plethora of games to go with them. But with the new consoles, what do we have? We have Spider-Man and Starfield. I couldn't finish that, man. I fucking hate that game. Yeah, the new consoles have barely anything to show off. When the Xbox Series X first launched in 2020, we got Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Tetris. Eventually, we did get Halo Infinite, but that game was so mediocre that I forgot it even came out. And admit it, so did you. The PS5 did have Spider-Man Miles Morales at launch, and now it has Spider-Man again. No joke, I do enjoy Spider-Man 2, but I don't think it really shows off the power of the consoles. In fact, the more I think about it, not a single game has been released in the past 5 years that has really blown away gamers. Most of the time, we see games with CGI trailers that promise to be the next big thing, then they actually release and they turn out to be shit.
This game blows!
A famous example would always be Cyberpunk. It was advertised as basically being the second coming of Christ. with Keanu Reeves.
If I need your body, I'll fucking...
But when the game actually released, it just kind of ended up being a massive failure. Like, that game was a disaster, holy fuck. So many modern games are advertised as these giant experiences, but all we get is a 4-hour download, long load times, in-game purchases, broken physics, and minus 7 years in the bank account. Now, I do get that making games is a grueling task, and with how advanced consoles are nowadays, people expect games to be gigantic masterpieces, but developing a massive game takes time, like nearly 8 years. So with games taking near a decade to make, there's a lot of pressure on developers to make the game the best they can be. But deadlines do have to be met, so oftentimes they release a game in an unfinished state. Like, look at the GTA Definitive Edition for example. Despite only being a remaster, it still needed a lot of time to make and prepare. And this remaster had only 20 developers working on it, and they only had 2 years to make it in time for GTA 3's anniversary. Companies seem to have this mindset where games need to be massive and look super realistic, when that should not really be the case. A game should show off the abilities of the new consoles, but they don't need to be the next Red Dead 2 for Christ's sake. Just make games that are worth buying a new console for. Like me personally, I cannot think of any reason to buy a new console other than the 4K gaming and slightly enhanced graphics. I'm sure in a few years we'll finally get games that actually show off the power of new consoles, but by that time we'll be heading to the next console generation, so it's kind of pointless, isn't it? Man. At least I have my precious GTA 6 coming soon. Now, of course, there are so many more issues with the entertainment industry, like Warner Brothers cancelling movies that are already completed, Kyrie vs. Acme, or this weird obsession with AI that everyone is getting into. But AI could be a whole other topic for a whole other video, so let me know if you guys would like to see a video on my thoughts on AI and media. But just to finish off this video, I want to say that I am not nearly this negative about entertainment. I love film, TV, music, and gaming. My love for these forms of media is why I do YouTube and why I'm currently studying to hopefully work in the media industry. I'm just really disappointed with how things are currently going with the entertainment industry. There are some insanely talented people out there who cannot show off their skills due to how the current industry is run. And I wish that someday we can allow these creative people to run wild and make some weird, crazy, or even groundbreaking stuff. And who knows? Maybe that creative person is you, the viewer watching at home. Don't let the corrupt and soulless industry make you afraid to pursue your dreams. Go out there and make whatever you want, make something special, and who knows, maybe the right person might find it. Anyway, I'm not good at writing conclusions with these type of videos, so go subscribe. The support is great motivation for me to continue making content and not live my life in the pub getting drunk every day wondering where it all went wrong. Goodbye everybody!